Okay, I've just sat it in the water and we're letting it level out and just take the water on naturally, and then we can see really how high it sits up with the ballast tank all the way full. So here we are, happy, happy, joy, joy. This thing took about an hour and 20 minutes to get level. As you can see, it's nice and suited well in the water. It's sitting at a nice altitude off the water. And now we're gonna slightly dive, well, we got forward. Now if I want to, I can really rev this baby up. And it really has a lot of power in it. So, and I didn't have to cut the holes open. So let's dive it little bit by bit. As you can see, if Mary comes down here and looks underneath the boat, from here, you can see all the lights are working in the water. Isn't it pretty? The Cadillac lights, you can even see in the interior, right here. And it's got a nice slow speed to it too. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna dive ever so slightly. A little bit by bit, see how it does. So much nicer than being in a swimming pool in the heat. Give it a second here. I'm just doing it real slow. And we got a little trapped air in the back, so she's probably gonna go bow first, but that's okay. It'll level off in a minute. As soon as that air comes out of there, we'll help it a little bit. And then that's about how she will sit. She'll actually sit with her tail down a little bit because they drive better that way because of its nature to want to dip its nose. But that's pretty good. I mean, that's a nice trim here, but I can go down even further. I can go all the way to the bottom. It'll take a second. It'll do it. We got some trapped air. We'll just give it a little wiggle. And keep in mind, you'll be driving this forward. There it goes. And now you can see it's just floating really nice, almost hovering underwater. In fact, it is hovering. That's a beautiful hover. And I might need just a chunk of weight in the back, just a little bit. If she's very slowly going to go down to the bottom, we'll go a little forwardness there. And she'll go and she'll sit right on the bottom, just as nice as can be. And there we go. I'm blowing ballast, and up she comes. So, God, this boat's just like perfect. And I can get it out of the water even further just by hitting the gas a little bit more. So, I mean, I have nothing to complain about here. This sub is just really perfect. Of course, Jim, you're gonna have to run this in your pool and tweak it a little bit more. You'll find that when you run it forward and backward, well, forward anyway, it's gonna wanna drop its nose. So you kind of just wanna fly it like you're flying a plane. Just when it starts to drop its nose, just pull back ever so slightly on this and just give it some back pressure so that it goes down level, and then you just keep it level under the water because they do like to plow. What I'm gonna show you next is how this, how you put stuff in and get things working in this. It's pretty darn easy. So pretty much all you need is a screwdriver and some tweezers or hemostats. These things. There's another name for them, but it escapes me. So to get this open, all you gotta do is this slides backwards and forwards. Now, it is gappy around the edge, the way this thing closes, but it really helps get the water in and out of this. So I would just leave it, and it's not that disturbing, but it makes it very easy to work on this. So you pull it forward. When you put it back on, you pop it down, it snaps. There's just a little tab there that holds it. It holds it really well. Pull forward, tab pops up. There's these tabs right here. These help keep it aligned and keep it down, but I'll show you how you close it. You just put one in the inside like that, squeeze. Put one in the inside like that, squeeze, and push down, and that's it. It's really easy, but it's very secure. So you just want to squeeze that to get it in there. And plus this will flex too. One thing I didn't show you, and I'm going to show you now, Mary's going to come around this side, and that is if you want to get this dive plane in the sail to work, you need to shoot down in here, Mary. You'll see there is this center, that center control right there. Now, I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this down like this, and the magnet will catch it, which it just did. And now I'm going to be very careful going forward, not to disconnect the magnet, which I've done, and go forward carefully like so. Squeeze, 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 snap, and so these just move ever so slightly just so you can do a little trim once you're in the water, but they're really ineffective. They're just for looks. So, and they could use a bit of grease on them, I can tell too, because they were working fine until they went in the water, and now they're a little stiff. So a little oil on it, silicone oil, will help that a great deal. And you adjust them with this knob right here, which is that channel. So you can trim them or move them just to show people they actually move, because they really serve no function any more than these do. Really the most important thing, of course, is the elevator and the rudders, which work just fine. So let's get this open. And so you want to disconnect that, you know, and from here, now we can see you have this one, the green and the blue hooked to this, which is your lights, the batteries on the inside of the cylinder. You just disconnect those like that, and then when you want to work on this and get it clear, you can disconnect it here. I put the connectors on every single part just in case, including this, which how this comes apart is really easy. One screw. Don't lose the screw or you're screwed. Then you've got this one here, too, see? So this way, you don't have to have these things dragging at being attached to all this, and maybe screw up some wiring, which allows you to get the cylinder out really easy. And how the cylinder comes in and out is pretty easy. You've got all these magnets that just come loose like that. And this is the one that controls the forward dive planes, which really are annoying. And this, let's see, so that's those, and this is the elevators here. You can see them moving. And this is the rudders on this side. And all you do to disconnect these is just pull magnets apart like that. So you just go like that, pull that off there, and this is the elevator, pull that off there. It's really simple. And these are the shafts that control the forward dive planes. Personally, I would just disconnect these and glue them shut, but that's your call. Now you can see these two drive shafts right here, and these drive shafts, of course, hook into the inside of the nacelles, where there's also the same type of coupler. And so when you pull the cylinder out, which I'm going to do now, you can see just how easy this all works. You just, I wouldn't lift up on the shafts because you put stress on the seals. I'd reach from underneath, and just pull that straight up. These come loose, and then just pull out the cylinder. It's a little tight because I put some extra foam in there, get this to have a better flotation. And that's it. That's all there is to do to get that out. It's very simple. And if you look inside, you can see all the weights. You can see all the controls and the amount of weight and foam it took me to get this to sit right. So that's all it is to it. And you know, to hook it back up, let's show you real quick. Put that in there like so. Slide it down all the way to the bottom, like that. There's a little notch down in here that will hit this little screw, which notches it into the little bulkhead there. And then you grab your connectors. Like for this, it might be a little hard to show on camera, but basically you want to get the first one fed into this side here. And this is probably the trickiest part. And then lift up on the cylinder a bit, get that in there, and that one's in. And that's what you do to hook those up. There is kind of a right and left, one shorter than the other. I don't know why, but they are. So I'm gonna hook the other one in to the coupler, to the prop shaft in there. That one's in. Don't they make it look easy? And again, I worry pushing on these shafts, but I'm gonna have to in this case, very carefully. Pop it in. Now that's both of them in now. And that's your drive shafts that are connected. Then you take your, that's the rudder, it goes there. The elevator, that goes there. And then this one connects to the elevator for the forward dive planes. And that's about it. And of course, you know how that one connects. It goes underneath this one. Make sure you go underneath when you put it on. This, you know, is very easy. This goes in like this. Screw. 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 Always wants to make a liar out of you when you're on camera. I seem to, oh no, here it is. Clip that. It's for your lights. And we're gonna hook up this one real quick here. Check lights. Them in. Little flicker there, might be some water. That's how you hook that up, and of course, not to run the light battery down, I'm gonna disconnect that. Again, this wire here goes under the one you see bent under there. That goes, and that'll just connect right away. It looks like a lot to do, but I mean, this sub is very well thought out. Merriman's, what he had planned to do with it is really quite amazing. That's connected, those are connected, everything, that's it. Now you're ready to go in the water. There's one last thing to show you, and of course, is this. You do have access down here, and it's gonna take a very thin, this radio's still on? Oh, it's still hooked up, wow, amazing. Okay, so it's going to take a very thin X-Acto blade or something to get it open. I didn't want to put a handle or something ugly on it, so I'll use that X-Acto blade and just kind of get under there if you ever need to. I left it this way because it's really a great way to have access, and there's weight in here too, but the magnets are so strong they won't come off, and that gives you access to these horrible dive frames in the front. Sorry, I know some of you like them, I don't. And this just held in with the magnets, and it's really strong. Because when I lifted it out of there, the water that builds up in there is a lot of weight. It didn't push it open. That's a really good sign. So there it is. That's basically it. This is a great boat. I wish I had this boat. This one's better than mine, and I'm going to go back to work on mine and kind of refit it a bit so that it works as good as this one. I think you'll be very happy with this. That's the end of this build. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And Jim, thanks so much for the opportunity to build this boat for you. It was a lot of fun. We're back to the robot, of course. And we weren't able to get to Laser Blast this week. I'm sorry. A holiday fell right in the middle of it. And I'm still waiting on some parts and stuff to get back to that. Hopefully next week. In the meantime, we got this guy off the table. The whole table's open now. And it's been interesting. George had already made me this part, which I have to preen and make a little tidier, but it's fine. It's really solid. I got piping and I put it through here. I made some pipe legs that going down inside this PVC. The PVC and these here are actually accurate to the actual robot. And there will be like a ball here, so I have to cut all this out and sink a ball into there and over this, and then this piece that goes around over here. Obviously won't get that today, but that is something yet to come. But what I wanted to do was get it off the table, get it standing up, make the waist for it, which you know I did, and I'm going to actually extend this out a little further. I'm going to add to it in the next few days. But for now, Let me stick the head on top of this so you can see just how cool it is and how big it is. Of course, we've got like about 3 inches off the ground there, pushing this close to 7 feet tall now. But when it was just on the ground, it was still very tall. I thought it was 6 foot, and so I'm a little under 6 foot. So when I first put it on the ground, I said, it's too big. There must be something off somewhere. And I kept checking the dimensions, and it was actually correct. So I like to build big models. You know, we got a big Enterprise. I got a full-size captain chair, and so why stop there? Okay, this goes this way. I can't remember how this goes, but I'm gonna get it in here. Up here, I got a nice power supply for this, so that it stays lit up. It's kind of looking down at you, and this is the power supply. So for now, I don't have a connector for it, but I will. Oddly enough, this goes together backwards, but we'll just twist the wires together for now. So I'm just gonna twist the wires for now, like that. So he's lit up. Ain't it cool? So it's kind of neat when you have to stand under it and look up. You don't see him with his mouth open very often, so I thought that's kind of cool. So, all of a sudden there was a camera there. So there we go. So you know, it's real strong, and the best part is it's on wheels, so I can roll it around because I can lift this. It's real iffy though. It's you know, this is about 20 pounds. With this on it, maybe 25. It's remarkably light. This is actually pretty heavy because we got metal pipes here. We got this solid hardwood that George made this piece out of, which really makes sense. So what I'm going to do next, just to get it rooted better to the base, I'm going to make some feet for it, and they will be basic blocks for now, and then later on I'll actually build the real feet. I have a combination of L200 foam and resin and sanding, or I might just sheet the foam with styrene, although it does have some compound curves, so probably it'll be a little combination of both. But for now, I just want to figure out what the heck I'm going to do to make some kind of feet for it. And so I actually want to cut a circle and lift the foot up, put this underneath. So what I need to do is go in here where we have our outline that I made almost 2 years ago now. Has it been 2 years, Mary? I think it has been. And get an idea, you know, so I can go up like several pieces of wood like this and high and get a nice fat foot. So I'm going to do that, and when we come back, we'll get those in position. I'm going to cut out an outline of the foot as well out of some plywood so I have something to work with, and I'll be able to lift the leg out of the foot and slide it out as need be. The actual depth of the foot is about 5 inches, so that's good. That makes it easy. I like round numbers. So we're going to cut some pieces of wood and stuff, and when we come back, we'll fit it under here and take a look. And that will really, I can screw those into this and then remove the screws when I want to take them out to work on it. It's kind of, there's no plan for this. There were no plans. There was no real progression than to sort of just wing it by ear, kind of the way I did the big Enterprise. So they're not that dissimilar, but you kind of get something to a point and you go, okay, so how do I do this next? And then you figure that out, and then you do that next. So we're going to do a lot of that as we move along. You see, I clean up after every step. I just cut out a foot, blank, and I had to go on the computer and get an idea of what the size of the foot is. And since there's no plans, what I did is I took this picture, which I found in the net, and I blew it up, and this guy got big feet. It's like, I think I made them too big now. I'm just realizing they're supposed to be 16 inches and I made them 18 inches. No wonder they look so big. Okay, I thought it looked a little bit big if you look there. It's an easy fix. Everything else is right. No, these are 16 inches. Okay, that's how big they are. Because there's a ball here, and then there's all this fat coming down here that I have to build out of styrene. And the feet are basically kind of square and rounded off. So what I've done is, of course, made them out of plywood, very thick plywood, so I can actually put this down inside. Now, cutting out the plywood with the skill saw is easy enough. And I love this one. It's got a laser on it. I like things with lasers. It's a childhood thing. So, you know, I don't have one of those door drill things big enough to cut a nice hole here. So when that happens and I can't fit it on the drill press because of its size, I do this. Cut a nice bunch of holes in a circle. This is why I clean as I go, because this stuff builds up fast. It gets all over the place. So, skill saws don't like to go in circles very well. So, what I'm doing here, I think you know, really? That's hot. That's why I don't like these. It's like, why didn't it? I missed the chuck. The chuck always worked better because I got it.
Is that a wood chuck?
Yeah, and I don't know how much wood a woodchuck can chuck, but now I'm gonna do this. My God, I need a hole and I'm gonna get it. Stone knives and bear skins or not, I'm gonna get it. And of course, I want it fast. I don't want to wait for it. There we go. Got a hole now to clean it up. You see how it doesn't like to go in a circle? It takes some doing. There. Gotta do a little more and then I'll test fit this piece of extra pipe. Makes you cry, doesn't it? You're not going to get a perfect hole, but you don't need it to be a perfect hole. That's why they made Bondo and resin and stuff, and glue. Now, it's hot here today. It must be a whole, oh, I don't know, what is it, 71 back here in the bay? Outside it's 84. In the valley, it's 117. So even when it's hot here, we're in good shape. But, all things being equal, I'm used to cool weather now. So when it gets to be 80, that's hot to me. So I sweat like a piggy. Okay, a little more. There it is. Making sure it goes in really easy here, because once I get it over there, that gets a little scary. Could actually have a little tiny bit more trimmed off of it, so when I try to slip it into there, it's there. Really nice, right and flush. Just great. So now the scary part, because this is only supported so well, but the idea is once these feet, I'm going to put some blocks around them, and I'm going to put the blocks here and put wood screws in there, and then drive screws into this so I can remove them later to build the actual feet. But I'm just trying to get the armature basically together. Now, this is all going to freak you out as much as it does me. I'm going to very carefully, he says knowingly, move this like this. Okay. Scoot that into there. And I know Gary Hughes is just digging this. Okay, because he's built robots before and he knows what manly work it is, my God. And he's built some big robots too. He actually gets inside of them. So, that is, that's gonna be just great. Now he's really, really solid. So, next thing is to tie my shoelace before I step on it. And I'm going to put the blocks in. We'll come back, take a look at that in a little bit. You know, I have to admit, this is really fun. Even this doing the boring construction part of it, because it's not boring. It's how you get anything done. It's not all paint job and assembling pieces of plastic. You know what I mean. If you guys build stuff, and I know a lot of you do, just making stuff from pieces of wood and plastic you get at the store and stuff is really cool. Now that went right into the PVC, which is what I want, so I can release it later. See, that's not going to go anywhere. Now I have to do the same thing on the other side. And it's done in this way because there's an angle that goes right here that eventually I will be getting to. And this is a time when I wish I had two of these. I could hook up a power drill, I suppose, the type that plugs in, but that would be too easy, and I'm excited to get all this together. Always drill a pilot hole. I've been on too many sets where people just drill straight into the wood and it splits. It holds, but it also weakens it. Done. And see, now that will keep it put while I drill the other holes. And beware that when you're drilling into wood, even if your bit's sharp, it gets hot. There it goes. It's pretty strong. Yesterday was pretty spooky when I was trying to get all this together myself. Mary wasn't here and it was spooky. Trying to get the stand just long enough without falling over that I could make some measurements. It was really, really something. So now, he's not going to go anywhere. It's even more so. And I can literally, right here, form the foot, right onto this and build this part here down to here. And the ball is going to be vacuum formed, and I'm going to sand it on this so it just fits just right. Close it, seam it. Same thing up here. So now that I have this whole structure, I can really get to building. So all I'm going to do next, of course, is do this again, which you don't have to see. We'll come back here in a minute, though, and I'm going to try to just do one blank here for this. I think there's just barely enough time to do that. So yeah, we'll see you in a few minutes. So what I did is I cut his leg off, off the plan in the hallway, and because I wanted to start figuring out how I was going to get these shapes. And before I start wasting styrene, excuse me, I took some dollar foam board. I think we talked about that before. I stripped the paper off of it so I get some nice Dapron very inexpensively, I might add. I used this as a pattern, and what I noticed looking at these pictures, which Adam Savage, Mr. Bird himself assure me are very accurate, I realized that from the front and from the side, basically this shape is the same. There's the cutout right there for this part that goes here so that the foot can rotate. In the front, there is also a cut, and they're a little narrow at the top from the side than they are from the front. So I made a basic triangle, made sure it was fairly equal, and then cut it and darted it a little bit, and voila, we start to get that shape. Now I still need to take a little bit more out of that to get that to close right. But we're just trying to get it as close as we can, and then I will take this apart and cut styrene out of it and build the real part using this to go by. Once I establish down there, it looks correct. It's a very inexpensive way to do this. And let's see, right there, a little more. I'm gonna turn around this way. Darting is kind of a, well, for me, there's a lot of guesswork. I really don't know how to accurately predict a dart except by trial and error until I get a good fit like that. So that's pretty dang good. So we got that one there. That's a side leg. I didn't cut the circle in there yet. I will eventually. So here's the front, and I've done this here too. I need to do a slight score this way. And then I just need to make a back light score, not all the way through, just enough to do that. And then we're gonna have the same problem with this, so I'm gonna have to start this a bit. Just a little bit, because it doesn't have as quite the same shape as the side does. It's not quite as beveled, and that is a bevel. I love Dapron. I've made so many cool airplanes out of this stuff and flown them. Jets from World War II, my own designs, because it just, boom, does what you want it to do, see? So that's pretty good. And so these, and I could probably just tape them together is what I'll do. We'll go together like so, and so, and so. So I'm gonna tape from the back side these two sections I made, because these two sections work, then I can make one for the other side and they'll all work. So that's the theory. We need a front and a side. Now I can see that I need to even that up a bit. Just a bit. Just a wee bit. There. Very nice. This is so cool. I just love doing this. Did I say I love doing this, Mary? Okay. So that should fold like so. You know, I really want to cut the other one. I'm gonna put this together now. So it's like origami or something. And I do have some discrepancies, and what's great about this is that I can just cut this foam so easily, just in a second. Can you imagine the styrene what I'd be going through? It would be absolute hell. So, okay. Well, maybe not absolute. In fact, I do believe that most of the Iron Giant was built this way. I did foam patterns and, turn it to the camera. I know. I can say that, but George will never understand that I'm having fun with one of his expressions because he doesn't watch the show. No. So, okay, that's the front. And so that would go, needs a little bit more of a bend. Ah, there we go. I really need to do this one, and then I can kind of close it up better. So I'm going to do that. Oh, didn't want that to happen. So look, we're going to make another one, and when we come back, we'll see how this looks on the leg. Oh, a leg. Come on, nice sharp lines. Okay, and then I'm going to make these marks here for dead center. And for where I got my line there and my line there. And I'm assuming that everyone has a dollar store somewhere in this country, and you can get this foam. And for $1, I mean, $10, I bought a whole bunch and just do amazing things with it. You can even fiberglass it with like a half-ounce cloth. It's epoxy resin, and then you got a permanent part. You can sand it, all that stuff. It's really, really good. So much fun. There. Now, I'm going to put these parts together, and they'll play stormy weather. And you know what happens after that. Okay. For those of you who know that joke. So we got that. And where's our front? There's our front. We're going to put that together next. You think about this stuff. I mean, I do. I sit there at night sometimes, falling asleep, seeing this all in my mind, like it's in AutoCAD or something, and folding things and making things go around, and it's just so neat then when the next day comes and you can actually get your hands on this and start doing what you imagined. 'Cause that's what it's all about, imagination. And SNG is where it comes together. So, okay, almost there. And yes, I am going to make a big Superman emblem for him. Superman. Why? It always happens when you are holding parts together exactly the way you want them. The tape won't cooperate. All right, fine. Fine. Put it on there first. And then I'll do that. Come on. You hingus my dingus. There. Beautiful. Now it wants to split there, but we won't let it. I'll put some up there to keep that from happening. Right. Okay, so now I'm going to do this. And if you've never done this with foam, making parts this way, you gotta try it because it's really, really cool and fun. Okay, like that. And all of a sudden, there's that leg. Now there's another part that goes behind here, but it almost doesn't look like it does, but it does. Another front. So I will just put this so far. So the other piece goes right here, behind it. It's still, well, it's the right size. It really is the right size. This could be darted a bit more, I think, but and that could be folded a bit more like pointed. And then I'm gonna go over here. Now, maybe about there. I always like just have a look, you know, get it approximately in the right position, have a look, and then I'll know if I'm on the right path, and I really think I am. So this means very easily I'll be able to take this all apart, cut it out of styrene, and make the part I need to really make this look right. There we go. Of course, this needs to be added in the back, that part, but yeah, that's gonna work. And that was done like in about 40 minutes. I was able to figure out, you know, exactly how that was all gonna work out. And I know that this ball here, which I'm going to make a mold off of, both on the outside and the inside, and make plugs from it that I can make balls. And that ball will go right there. It'll be vacuum formed, fit right into this notch and be part of that. So this is really going well. I couldn't be more happy. We're gonna do more of this on Monday.